hear this?
It's French,
You're
baby.
listening to charlietrix,
Song.
remise, and jhanboom.
Can you dig it?
One more time.
That's where it is. That's
And
what
this
they
time
want.
it was right on time.
But never late.
Yes, sir.
Yes, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This is the Fan's Perspective. I am your host, charlietrix, and I'm here with my brother.
Remise, what's good, everybody?
Remise is in the building, and we got my
It's your
man,
boy jhanboom. What's poppin'?
John Busy Boom,
You know.
here with another episode. And we got a lot of good stories this week for you guys tuning in.
For sure.
I got one hell of a story about a lottery winner, a waitress. This thing is a doozy. I got to talk about that.
Get
John
involved.
Boom is going to set this one off, and Remy Say, as usual, will have some fire in between. Before we get started, though,
For sure.
it is Labor Day weekend. And
You know.
we want to say happy
Yes, sir.
Labor Day weekend to everyone out there celebrating.
Hell yeah.
Gentlemen.
What's happening, people? You know, it's your boy jhanboom back at it again. Saturday style. Watch your mouth. Labor Day weekend, Virgo season. Shout out to all my Virgos out there representing the
Virgos
season.
in the house.
You know what I'm saying? And representing loyalty and disrespect if you say something to us. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, holla. You know, jhanboom, happy, ready to go. Let me say with the sauce.
Yes, sir. Just here waiting to get these in and then go to a bunch of barbecues, do Labor Day the right way with a lot of glizzies, some burgers,
Yeah.
and a lot of beer.
Glizzies, nigga. Yeah, real niggas eat glizzies.
Pause.
No,
Pause.
nothing wrong with enjoying a hot dog. Pause.
Yeah, just put sauerkraut on it, man. That makes it manly.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah,
adds
hopefully
manliness. 3
everybody
points.
is about to enjoy. The barbecues are plentiful this weekend.
Yes.
And so are the stories. So we're going to jump right into it. John Boom.
You know,
set it
local
off
news.
You
one
know
time.
how I like my local news, man. Shout out to Lodi, Dakota, Sac, Lodanians for life, always, every day. You know what I'm saying? And you know how I like my animal stories, man, especially when they pop up when they're not supposed to be. But this particular reptilian that I'm about to speak of is downtown, down in South Jersey. I'm going to read a little bit of the article. I'm going to put my little bit because I am terrified of alligators. Okay, you should be as well.
Alligators in Jersey?
Alligators in Jersey. And you know it's not up here because those Lodanians would have captured them already. You know what I'm saying? All right, so check it out, people. On August 23rd, police officers from the Middlesex Borough Police Department were dispatched to Victor Crowell Park in Middlesex, New Jersey. Middlesex. My favorite god. to capture the alligator after it was spotted in the park. The officers plan to remove the potential dangerous species capable of ripping someone's balls smooth off. You know what I'm saying? But they were not able to apprehend the animal. Now, on
They didn't capture it?
They
It got
did not
away.
capture it. It got away again. It was elusive.
It is eluding capture. It's eluding capture.
He jiggled out of there. So, boom. Let's move it on to Saturday.
Nickname Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather with the Gators. All right, yo. So on Saturday, the alligator, estimated to be about 3 to 4 feet in length, was spotted in Lake Crankton. So my man moved from the one lake to the other, wiggling out of that motherfucker. Lake Crankton is also known as Duck Pond, next to the park, and that's in Abrams Brook, which connects the lake to Railtown River, per the social media post from the Middlesex. So it's a connecting motherfucking river, and the fact that it's in Duck Pond, I can understand why there's probably ducks there and the motherfucker is having a nice buffet.
Feasts.
The alligator immediately submerged into the brook, and it was unconfirmed if they was able to capture it. So, first of all, the alligator went from Victor Crowell Park down to Middlesex to Lake Crankton. They dispatched an officer which they thought qualified to be an alligator capturer. And again, the alligator is at large. So currently at the moment,
They still don't have it.
They still haven't captured
He's
the alligator.
traveling from up and down rivers, hitting one lake after the next, found some ducks to feast on.
I was going to say, has there been any reports of any...
Now, let's bring it down a little bit further down. Our police
Has
officers...
anybody faced the gator roll?
No, not yet. Not yet. Thank God no one has been injured. No one has been hurt by the alligator, but the alligator is still at large, and they're still trying to capture him down in Middlesex.
Well, listen, I could use a pair of Gator shoes. Maybe we should take a
Go
ride
for
out
it.
there.
I mean, I follow because I'll be honest now. This is going. So Middlesex, to sum up the story, be careful out there. There's a 3 to 4 foot alligator out there, eluding officers. Officers can't get him. Shaft can't get him. No one can get this gator, right? But I do think I know someone that I follow on social media that could probably capture this gator, and his name is Gator Boy Chris. Now, Gator Boy Chris is from Florida, and he has a sanctuary for alligators that he captures, because, of course, Florida has thousands of alligators, so he tries to get them so they don't kill him. Gator Boy Chris does posts almost every day advising you to not be around lakes. Alligators are not your friend, and they will kill you if they capture you. So he's
beware.
So the only person, if y'all really want someone to capture this gator, reach out to my man Gator Boy Chris.
Gator Boy.
SOS, Gator Boy Chris.
At the end of the day, someone's little dog's gonna be out there tripping in these rivers. How y'all like to let them run loose for the motherfucking TikTok video and shwapam. It's over.
Man, see, I have a serious phobia of bears because I've seen bears out in nature, and I know I have to be aware of bears in North Jersey. I've never thought to myself, let me keep an eye out for an alligator. That could catch me by surprise.
Exactly. You're not used to alligators in Jersey anyway.
I think that could catch a lot of people by surprise.
Right on.
And in Jersey, it's not uncommon for kids to run down and play by the creek and shit like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hopefully they capture it. And I'm sure over there, well, I hope so, that they have like warnings and stuff out to the town, at least the local towns, especially around the paths that thing can travel, considering it can't be
Rivers, lakes,
stay away from that area, man.
It can dip out of the river, but it's not really like it's gonna go that far or out of the creek or whatever.
Yeah, because you know what? I think because what will gators do more? They just submerge, and they can stay underwater for about 5 to 6 hours. So if this gator's just doing a little submerge, 5 to 6, come up, submerge 5 to 6.
Yeah,
young gator too, 3 to 4 feet. Those could rip your arm smooth off. One death roll and your arm is gone.
I wonder how that one got up here. Like, where's the closest spot that gators are?
There's like swampy ass areas, right?
Yeah,
Jersey.
Atlantic City,
but they're not.
Off the turnpike.
Well, this fucking area right over here, it's got cleaned up a little, but this used to be all swamplands over here.
But also our climate too over here, just had a couple months. You know what I'm saying?
We got new invasive species.
Oh, okay.
The lanternflies and shit.
They out there too, man. I saw the praying mantises fucking them up though.
Yeah, praying mantises.
They don't.
There's not enough praying mantises,
bro.
especially in this area.
Pin up a bug.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we got this crazy ass alligator, which now we can add one more animal to our features of animal lineup.
Yup.
Beaver porcupine, right?
Beaver porcupine. We got
roosters,
the pigeons,
killer roosters. Drug dealing pigeons.
Yes, we got a lot of
crazy,
stuff.
Man.
So we're gonna have to put this one on board. There you go.
For sure.
Oh, that's enough. Hold on, run that back.
Pow. And I just wanted to
gator.
Just to bring the last thing about the gators. So yes, they have traps in the lakes for them. You know what I'm saying? They keep in a close monitor in certain places. They got the motherfucking army cameras on the lakes and shit. They got traps. So the police department is definitely out there trying to catch this motherfucker.
Good. Stay safe.
Yes.
Middlesex.
I doubt that. North Jersey police are getting trained in how to handle an alligator situation.
They don't know what's going on.
They're
They
probably
scared
like,
to
this
death.
is ridiculous.
I don't get paid enough.
I'd be mad as hell, bro.
Get my leg ripped off.
Go chase an alligator, man.
One twist for that shit, your leg's gone.
All right, Remy, you run it with this one.
More local news, actually.
Let's get it.
And it's Boom relevant because Boom's going to this. Izu is this weekend, Labor Day weekend.
It is.
And it ran into some controversy. Now, just to give you an idea of the scope of this thing, they expect more than 100,000 people to attend Izu over the course of the 3 days that it's going on, or that it was supposed to go on, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But in this story coming out of, NY1.com, Spectrum News, Less than 3.5 hours before the first day of Electric Zoo Festival was set to begin, organizers announced on social media that Friday's lineup would be canceled because the main stage was not finished.
Whoa.
So they made a statement. The global supply chain disruptions have impacted industries worldwide, and sadly, our beloved festival has not been immune. These unexpected delays have prevented us from completing the construction of the main stage in time for day one. So they canceled day one of this event. It was going to have over 100,000 people across this weekend.
Damn.
People have booked hotel rooms. People have been traveling. People were driving, from long distances.
Overseas.
Yep.
What are the like how many people only booked day one versus people who are going to be there for the whole weekend?
Tickets are expensive as hell. So
yeah,
a lot of
and you
people
get a discount too. Like what they do is from the time they start selling them 4 months ago. So in between they'll have like a special. You know what I'm saying? They have the 3-day pass, maybe 25% off. They'll have certain ways for you to get it. You know what I'm saying? At a discounted rate.
But what was one day?
One day is I'm gonna say it's like $125.
Yeah, so do you think a lot of people only bought the one day is what I'm saying?
Well, you could either spend $125 or you could spend $450.
Me personally,
3 days.
Damn.
Just my experience,
$375.
most people that get Friday, they usually get the whole 3-day pack. You know what I'm saying? They'll get a consecutive. You know what I'm saying? Because Friday's just a kickoff.
Friday, Saturday.
You know what I'm saying? Friday, Saturday. So usually, if they don't get 3, they'll get maybe 2 days. Like shout out to Roman and Natalie. They did Friday and Saturday and Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So they usually buy.
Yeah, so we know people that bought.
They bought 2 days out of the weekend.
But yeah, they were going to split it up.
Is it going till Monday?
It goes until Sunday. So you got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday being the most popping day. Your boy jhanboom is going to be in the house. If you see me out there, grab my ass.
There it is. With 60 to 70 bracelets.
Exactly.
Let's
switch them up. But then I see it from the jhanboom perspective. You feel me? From another realm is preparing for Izu. A lot of these people, this is EDM music. They take a lot of the heavier drugs to get you ready.
Substances in preparation for the experience.
Exactly.
And you need to be ready for an all day there.
All day marathon. You're taking all that shit 3 hours before you're partying. You don't see the cancellation till 45 minutes where you're about to hop in the Uber. You just took the Metabizzies. Now what you gonna do? You high off Edibizies.
It's Friday. People, it's a work day for most New Yorkers, and you are off that Molly in downtown New York with nothing to do
in the streets, literally,
in some neon Technicolor outfit.
Yeah, I wonder where that crowd that is out here for the weekend, where they all
dispersed,
went to on Friday. There was probably some popping areas.
Yeah, Friday was probably litty.
Yeah, for them in the streets, But then I think about some people ain't, but. Thank God, there was no report, a lot of violence, none. Not like the Sanat shit that happened in the park that caused a riot.
I mean, these people, what they're on, they're probably giving out free hugs and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very good vibe at
super
these festivals.
Positive. They're gonna work it out together. So
yeah, these are friendly ass vibe at these festivals.
The friendliest.
Yeah,
too friendly sometimes.
Yeah, these festivals. This is you guys' story because I am far removed from that part of my life.
Back in the '88 when you and vamanonos was out there. You feel me?
Listen,
in the streets.
I don't think I could survive, and also I don't think I'd have fun.
Yeah, right on.
These guys, house music for these guys is totally different. Their house music is like take me in your arms,
that's
that type of shit. That's their
more
house.
Freestyle.
No freestyle, whatever.
House music is,
I don't even think this is like EDM
girl,
music.
House, you say what?
Is that?
House,
that's that shit.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah, that's that shit.
Jumping, dancing, feeling breezy.
We're on some way extra psychedelic trippy shit.
Yeah, man.
It's fun, though.
I just got involved in it, too, because, I wasn't even into it in the past, but, I needed an outlet for positive music, and I found it in that shit.
Boom's a late bloomer.
Yeah. It's the, as I've gotten older, now, I call it a night extremely early, but my days do start earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm waking up while you guys are, ready to break night, at the end of your session. Probably. We can link up at that point and have, breakfast or something. Too bad for the goers of that festival, and hopefully the rest of it is popping, and you guys, too, enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
But moving right along, when we opened up, I said I got a real doozy of a story. This story, I saw a clip on TikTok, and then it was so wild that I had to look it up and see if it was just complete nonsense.
Word.
I looked it up, and there were all sorts of news articles on it. It's an old story, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it anyway. So this is great.
Sure.
This is the story of a woman named Tonda Dickerson, okay? Tonda worked in the Grand Bay Waffle House in Alabama. And so a little bit about her. She was in her late 20s. She was a divorced single mother. She left an abusive husband a few years prior. And she lived hand in mouth, working 5 shifts a week at the Waffle House, right?
Okay.
There was a regular customer named Edward Seward who went in there all the time. And he was known for tipping people with lottery tickets.
Oh, okay.
And this particular day, he tipped Tonda with a lottery ticket, okay? So, lo and behold, day goes on, she wins $10 million.
Woo.
It was actually a $1 billion lottery winning, but that she was one of so many people that won it.
Right on.
And so this lady wins, right?
It's best tip ever.
So best tip ever, but get this, that is where her life goes straight to hell. This is so wild, right? So the following week, the winning I'll read a little from the story. The following week, after getting the tip, the winning lottery number was announced. Tonda realized she just won $10 million. Wow. So unlike most winners, she opted to do the 30 annual payments of $375,000 a year.
Split it up.
That's a smart move for a lot of people. She quit her job for the time being, bounced out of the Waffle House. So
makes sense.
After that, things go straight to hell, right?
Oh, shit.
First, 4 fellow waitresses sued Tonda, saying they had a joint agreement to split any lottery winnings from tickets customers gave them.
Oh.
At court, the waitresses brought in a customer who said she heard Tonda mention the agreement to her. Tonda contended that this wasn't even a real customer. It was a friend that they brought in just to help win the case.
Oh.
The courts ruled against Tonda, saying she must split the earnings.
Damn.
Then, an Alabama district court overturned that ruling, saying the agreement was built on gambling, which was illegal in their district.
Oh.
So she got away with that, but she was about to get hit with that, right?
Wow.
So Tonda's lawyer was quoted saying, "These rats are coming out the woodwork."
Damn.
These people, right?
He kind of lost the case and still he got lucky on that one. But
after the mess of that case, right? Next up is Edward Seward, the guy who gave her the lottery ticket. He finds out she wins. He decides to sue her. He claims that Tonya had said, "I'll buy you a new truck if I win with this ticket." That's the quote. So
where's my truck?
She basically got hit with this guy trying to sue her over this. They go to court. In this case, that one was quickly rejected, right?
Okay.
But she has to deal with a second case, right? Now check this out. This is where things get worse, right? Tonda's abusive ex learns that she wins the lottery. He shows up, kidnaps her.
Jesus Christ.
Keeping her at the wheel and forcing her to drive. He says he's going to kill her. They begin driving to a remote region in the boonies of Alabama.
What?
20 minutes into the drive, he took a phone call. As he's distracted, Tonda pulled out a gun and threatened to shoot him. He lunged to take her gun. Before he could grab it, bow! Tonya sends a bullet right through his chest.
Oh, shit.
He manages to take the gun from her. At her urging, they went to the hospital to get him treated. He managed to survive, but was sentenced to a brief stint in prison.
Oh.
Tonya's story through the
Terminator, bro.
This is basically...
Ain't nobody stopping her from her money.
Wow, but check, she got sued left and right. The guy that gave her a ticket. Then this situation with her ex. She's got to blast the dude to save herself.
She had to pop him
but
one
then
time.
gets him to a hospital.
Luckily, because she was probably like, "I'm not trying to kill you. You're trying to kill me." You know,
crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that is just, it goes on just to say that this is just another tale of lottery winners.
Wow.
Who their life goes sour after winning the lottery.
That shit is a Hollywood movie waiting to be written.
Yeah, exactly.
It probably is a Hollywood movie. But I don't know if you heard about that, Johnny, but there's this thing about the curse of lottery winners where people win all this money and then instead of everything being fantastic, life-changing, it just goes straight to hell. And it's been a consistent, like a lot of winners have some crazy shit that happens to them.
God damn.
But poor Tonda
Jesus
went through it. And you know what?
Good thing she used some of those winnings to buy a gun.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that,
Stay strapped.
it might not be as wild, but I'm going to give her a little bit of credit on the Joe Doyle tip because Tonda is
Survivor.
also a survivor.
These are some survivors.
Crazy.
My girl did it.
And nobody else got any of that money. She kept that shit.
She kept that
Way to
shit.
Fight.
Way to
Keep-
fight for the cheddar.
None of those co-waitresses and their friend, the
Yeah.
fake witness.
Papa-
But you saw
Papa
in the
motherfucker.
first case how the court failed.
Yeah.
And the judge ruled in the favor. And you know what, though? I mean, who are we to say? What if they didn't fail?
Maybe, yeah.
What if
Maybe
there
she
was
made
an
all these
unwritten
promises.
agreement?
Maybe she really did promise
What
this guy a
if
truck.
Tonda's the sicko here?
And then
She robbed everybody
Yeah.
at the diner.
She goes
shot
back
her ex
to
in the
her
chest.
her abusive ex. She pulls him
Payback.
at gunpoint, drive me out to this remote area, shoots him in the chest. Now we're going to the hospital, bitch.
Exactly
I got
what she
enough
knows.
money. I can lawyer up.
That's
Can
right.
you?
He won't die.
In the next What If, Tonda is the villain.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
Tonda.
This makes her even cooler to me.
$1 million woman.
honest.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, but you know, moving it along in a very rare occasion, Boom is decided to cover some foreign policy.
Oh, hey, wherever the policy and procedures go, that's where I go, right?
Well,
You know what I'm
it's different
saying?
from your local news,
You know what
though.
I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go international, you know what I'm saying, to understand what
Expanding.
else is going on, then bring it back to the mothership. But here we go, man. I'm going to just read a bunch of this article. It's an interesting story, you know what I'm saying? We're going down to the tough streets of Dubai, you know. So, Saudi man sentenced to death for tweets and harshest verdict yet for online critics. So down there in Dubai, a retired teacher in Saudi Arabia was recently sentenced to death for his tweets criticizing the country's leadership to his handful of followers, according to the rights advocates and his family. The sentencing of Mohammed Al-Hamadi, who is in his mid-50s, is the latest in an escalating crackdown on social media users in Saudi Arabia. While others are serving prison terms ranging from 20 to 45 years for their tweets and online criticism of the government, Agamdi appears, I apologize if I'm chopping up the name, but you know what I'm saying, you know I'm Spanish. Agamdi appears to be the first person to be sentenced to death
Over tweets.
based solely over tweets on his post on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Messed up.
Now the shit goes crazy. Now keep it in the article. The wide scale targeting of critics has unfolded as Sandy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman,
MBS. Yeah.
yeah, that's what they call him.
Salman.
Pushes sensitive reforms that have overhauled life and loosened restrictions for many in the country. These sweeping reforms, like allowing women to drive, ending strict gender segregation rules in public, and opening the country to entertainment and tourism, have coincided with similarly sweeping crush of dissent. Agamdi, a father of 7 living in Mecca, had gained just 10 followers between 2 anonymous accounts he ran on X, according to the Human Rights Watch. He used the social media site to rail against alleged government corruption, but was mostly resharing posts by more popular government critics. Pow. So the platform X is among the most popular social media, as you know. Boom, boom, boom. Bring it down to the nitty-gritty of this situation. Now, how y'all feel? This is kind of crazy because while I had this article rolling, there's a side of it involving Elon Musk that kind of goes hand in hand, and let's put me a little bit onto it.
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk specifically Saudi Arabia, MBS, I think they're heavily invested in Twitter, and it's just interesting because Elon is on a bit of a he claims to be like this free speech kind of advocate, and this guy is, if this story is correct, is about to get murdered or
all that free speech,
death sentence because of his tweets.
Oof. That is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And here in America, we take freedom of speech for granted. Out there, a tweet could get you killed.
And how bad were these tweets? What the hell was he? Was it like?
Well, he said anti-corruption stuff about the government being corrupt, and mostly retweets. So the other thing they mentioned is the 20 to 40 years that this guy's getting executed, which gets your attention. But there were already people doing 20 to 40 year bids over their Twitter accounts. Like, you can't shitpost about Saudi Arabia, or you could be got.
Okay, so just to give a little bit more of the situation, so Al-Ghamdi's case is particularly striking because of the apparently where small reach of his accounts on X in contrast with the server sentencing he was handed, it can appeal to the verdict. Court documents reviewed by the rights activists and Human Rights Watch show Al-Ghamdi was sentenced to death in July under the country's vaguely worded counter-terrorism law for using his social media accounts to commit crimes such as insulting the Saudi Arabia king, prince, and supporting terrorism. So, a lot of shit going down out there, man.
I just think it's really crazy to believe that anybody is getting sentenced to death
over tweets, reposts, not even your original word. You know what I'm saying? So I could just imagine the stuff that I said about Asian massages and sex out there. I might get fucking sentenced as well, 6 to 9 years.
People will freak out about having like a tweet get blocked or or have a misinformation tag at the bottom of it that tells you that you're tweeting some bullshit. People will act like that's some dystopian future and shit. Meanwhile, you go to Saudi Arabia and you tweet the wrong thing and you could be on the execution block.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be careful out there, man. And they ain't playing.
That's a rough one, Johnny.
That's a rough one. Let's see if
throw it in on the investment part. Saudi Arabia's Kingdom Holding Company, along with the private ownership of Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, will continue their ownership of Twitter shares valued at $1.89 billion after Elon Musk's takeover. Is something I was able to pull up from an Al Jazeera article in 2022. So just to show you what you meant by the investment thing. So there is a deep investment there. And for all that, Elon Musk did a lot about this is about free speech and letting everybody, it's kind of scary that big investors are executing, are partially involved in what's going on with that shit. So,
yeah, that is
wild, boy.
Johnny, you had anything else you wanted to add?
The only thing is, right, because I was reading the article, I didn't bring it up, is that, like, how Elon Musk is like, associated with them. The way they're exposing some of these tweets out there in Saudi Arabia, they have like almost like Twitter police that is sending the messages out as soon as it comes out. I don't know if it's a standard thing to do, but there's someone actually getting paid to monitor this shit.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is if I'm out there, I ain't tweeting jack shit.
I'm throwing my phone in the fucking water.
That app ain't gonna be on my phone. I got read only.
We too. I think you can't even smoke out there in Dubai. No weed, man. That's another 4 to 7 years.
Well, listen, I ain't fucking.
Sounds dry as hell.
If I'm traveling out anywhere, be cautious of the laws. And behave yourself.
Watch your mouth.
If you haven't noticed, nobody's flying the military to save your ass if you do some dumb shit in another country while you're traveling on vacation or shit. So, but anyway. So, moving right along, I wanted to talk about this next story because recently, actually, am I? Yeah, I am. I'm in the right spot. I thought I lost my place. I just finished watching recently a show called Painkiller.
Okay.
It's a 6-part series or 7-part series on Netflix, and it's about the opioid crisis. Specifically, it focuses on OxyContin and the Sackler family and the Purdue company, right, that created OxyContin.
created, promoted, marketed, and all that.
Not Purdue Chicken. They involved in that shit.
Not Purdue Chicken.
Okay.
Purdue Pharma.
Purdue Pharma.
About to stop my shit.
So, it was directed by Peter Berg,
Okay.
I believe. But anyway, the shit really moved me when I watched it, and that's why I wanted to talk about it here. It told the story of how OxyContin was brought to market by the Sackler family. It showed how it got through approval through the FDA, through this one guy who signed off on it, who they essentially, I guess, bought. You got to watch the story, but it's
implied
it's
Crazy.
that he was bought.
It's such a wild story, and the part about it too. They explain how the addiction to opioids doesn't only impact the person addicted, it impacts the whole family in a really dramatic fashion when it comes to that.
Word.
And I have personal experience dealing with that situation with family members, so I guess that helped hit home for me. But I think everybody, I would recommend that you watch this movie.
Word.
And one thing that I came out of that movie feeling like, which I really don't like to feel like this, was like I had a real hatred for the Sackler family based on what I saw. It really turned my stomach. And I don't like to feel like that, but that is how I walked away from that. And
Okay.
the other thing I wanted to say was that when you watch what happened, this is a family that is still rich. No one's behind bars today. They are responsible for so many destroyed lives. It is unreal, akin to like the crack epidemic, and they go through some of that in the series.
Word.
And that's the other part that I wanted to just point out, was just like they were essentially drug dealers, but just rich white men in business suits. And I mean, I don't know, man. Absolutely horrendous.
They basically had enough money to pay to rationalize their drug dealing, because the recklessness and the awareness is very obvious when you see what they were looking at. They wanted this much more of the market, even though those people weren't in severe pain.
Gotcha.
They wanted to bring this treatment that would be allowed to be given to these people, despite how addictive it could be. And they fronted about a lot of stuff. They were being made aware of the risks involved.
They made a drug that was like one molecule away from heroin, severely, highly addictive, and they would have like pretty young women go into doctors' offices and basically entice these doctors and flirt with them to push OxyContin as a prescription on patients. And they were just started writing it left and right, and then they would pay them like basically like reward money, bonuses for
how
writing
much?
more prescriptions.
Get your numbers up. You
higher milligrams of prescriptions. And the chicks got paid who were selling it to the doctors, and the doctors got paid. They spent, I forget what the number was, like $9 million 1 year on just like lunches for these doctors, just whining and dining and shit.
Wow, that's how much money they were making in. They spent $9 million on the lunches?
Billions.
And they were taking these, like, they were flashing a letter to the editor as this proof that it was a safe drug. Like, the way they did it was so foul. It was so
shady,
obvious.
so maniacal.
Okay, I get involved.
Such a criminal act, all the way through. And the soullessness that it takes. And it really just brings into perspective when you're looking at people who've obtained a certain amount of money, and you have to wonder, like, like this guy's, they're worth like 10 to 20 billion dollars after they were fined billions for what they did.
That's
But
crazy.
they were fined billions, and they make a comment at the end. The guy's saying like, it's over 10 years, we'll be able to pay it with interest. We won't even feel it. And it's just like, my God, the punishment can't be that they got. It sounds like a lot. It's not equivalent if they don't feel it. If they didn't.
It's a high number. It's a high
happened.
sounding number, but just because the number sounds high doesn't mean the actual
Destroyed
impact
lives and families.
is equivalent to what they did.
I don't think it's even off of their interest. I think it's off of the company.
Yeah,
the company's
that
going to
one
pay it back or
company.
something. But the thing was, when it said not believed to cause addiction or
Is
something like
believed.
that. Yeah, they said that was
Is
from a study,
believed.
and that was from the journal or something that the doctor wrote.
Oh,
And when the doctor
okay.
found out, he was like,
They're using my letter like this?
to make billions.
Every aspect that they did was shady, and that's the thing. Like Lou's saying, they had the wording, the way they worded it, in the approval thing was, the drug is believed not to be addictive or some, and it was just so, oh man,
Some real
Crazy.
rhetoric shit, like some pedagogy.
Yo, I gotta throw it on. Then it keeps popping up. You know what I'm saying?
Pedantic,
But I'm gonna put that shit on. I'm gonna leave a bad review.
No, it's really good. It's like it's a thumbs up, but
Right, I just heard that
it's a
director.
fantastic
Like, hey, what I do,
series.
motherfucker? I just covered it.
But I was heavy-hearted, I must say, watching.
All right, cool.
But anyway, let's run it and move it on a little bit.
Can you dig it?
Yes, sir. So I like to call attention to different policy angles that can be helpful from a leftist perspective, and I found one that is pretty cool because it feels like common sense when you really dig down, but they also looked at why people don't support these types of policies. So anyway, in Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, this research article in Social Sciences was produced. It's called Unconditional Cash Transfers Reduce Homelessness. Who would have thought? The lead author was Ryan Dwyer, and it's good to have this research, not to complain about it, but I'm just saying, like, of course, cash transfers are going to reduce homelessness. But essentially what he did was he took 7,500 Canadian dollars and gave it to each of 50 individuals experiencing homelessness. Then he had another 65 as controls in Vancouver, British Columbia. And the exploratory analyses showed that over 1 year, cash recipients spent fewer days homeless, increased savings and spending with no increase in temptation goods spending, and generated societal net savings of $777 per recipient via reduced time in shelters. So essentially, giving these people lump sums of money and helping them get back on their feet saved money as compared to just having them go into shelters and spend time in shelters. And it also reduced their amount of time the time they needed to get back on their feet. So, like, the success is just, it's crazy.
But that goes back to an old study, and we've heard this probably a bunch of times now, that the best way to help people is to just give them money and let them handle their own shit.
Yes.
That has been proven statistically to be the most effective way to use that money. Most of these people spend it on the most important thing. Yes, some people spend it on nonsense. The majority of the people do not.
Yeah, they need that money for the necessities first.
Necessity.
The necessities come first and then the other stuff, which is why when they come down to these studies, temptation goods, like they said, there was no increase in temptation goods spending. They brought that up and looked into that because that's such a common belief that, if you give homeless people money, they're going to spend it on this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And these studies continue to disprove that.
And remember that I covered the story a few episodes back that something like 40% of homeless people are full-time workers.
Yeah,
They're
that's
employed.
Yeah, it's like there's a huge number of people that are working and still can't
And in shelters.
get on their feet.
Sleeping
Yeah,
in shelters at night.
And that's kind of what this showed. So they did look for a specific type of person to fit this. They had to be 19 to 65 and homeless for less than 2 years, a Canadian citizen, and they couldn't show severe levels of addiction or mental health symptoms.
Okay.
Because, like, that would mean that there's certain dangers you don't want to, just throw towards. And so only 31% of the people they looked at 732 participants from 22 shelters. Only 31% qualified after just those limitations. But in those situations, they set up this group. It would be one group would go to a coach and get a workshop, and they would get the money. Then they had one group that they just gave the money. Then they had one group that didn't get the money but went to a coach and went to workshops. And then they had one group that got nothing. And what they found was the two groups that got the money, same results, did well. got back on their feet pretty fast within 3 months and were good. The groups that didn't get the money, same results, took them instead of 3 months, maybe 6 months to get back on their feet and get things rolling and stuff like that for the ones that did. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, by reducing time in shelters, the cash transfer was cost effective. The societal cost of a shelter stay in Vancouver is estimated at $93 per night. So fewer nights in shelters generated a societal cost savings of $8,277 for the people that they had. And that's because cash recipients spent 99 less days homeless and 55 more days in stable housing. And the 44 days difference is because of transition housing. Just to throw that in.
Did they do so they were there was a bit of an intention of like getting these, I guess, kind of newly homeless people back on their feet and into a better situation. I was wondering if it was like they were just running the test, or they were like really like, let's get these people into a better scenario.
Yeah, what they said was it essentially meant that they could get these people back on their feet really quickly. That opened up space for people that have the more severe needs, which would be people with severe mental illness, severe, different severe cases or different reasons that they might need it. But it clears out those beds for the people that need it the most. And clearly these people are able to get back on their feet. And I think the other thing about having them be newly homeless was it was ease of being able to stay in contact with them, because they lost a chunk of it. A chunk of the people that they wanted to follow just because they couldn't find them, or else they would have been part of the pilot.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the story is pretty wild. But back to the same thing we were saying, give people money.
Yeah, and it didn't matter if they were coached or not; they got the same result. It was just the money was the difference. So they even threw out the two. Instead of doing 4 groups and studying them as 4, they were able to combine it because the results were so the same. That it was like, yeah, the coaches and workshops we sent them to, we got to pick different workshops and coaches. This is not what they need. I was going to say
that.
They're good.
That speaks to the coaches there. And
it's
like you guys,
they're aiming it like, yeah, you could throw money at a coach, but if you're having them coach the wrong thing, it doesn't matter,
Yeah, and that is also, that's probably another thing where what those people need in real life to get through their day-to-day is very different from what people on the outside think. We got to coach him on,
affirmations. They had them doing affirmations. They had them, well, one thing they did that I always liked, they had them like set goals, and they said it wasn't necessary. And like, I like setting goals, but I think that's also like a bit of a privilege of not having the stress of certain.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean by where these people are.
When you're hungry, you need food, and you're going to spend your money on food. It's like very common sense in a certain way that I think people overlook.
I think, look at it like this: like, they're at a different layer in the onion than where you're at and what you're thinking they need. So their focus is just completely different. But I think that's a lot of situations. So.
Yep.
But all right. Well, one for that.
Yeah, take a load too.
I was gonna say, Johnny, since you did the other one, we'll swap positions on this one, okay?
Yeah. I just gotta take a little intermission. You
need 5?
Yeah. If y'all want to keep rocking.
I'll keep the story going.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this will be good for me and Remy to talk about. But I'm gonna start this segment by reading a quote. The quote is from a battle rapper named Thesaurus.
Really good battle rapper, legend.
Scribble
Jam winner, I think.
But he tweeted this out, and I just broke down dying. But this is the quote: "Bro is out here microdosing strokes on camera. America's wild, man. Get these geriatrics out of positions of power." And I read that and I started dying laughing. Obviously, he's talking about Mitch McConnell.
Did it again.
Froze up. From what I heard multiple times now, I've seen 2 on camera in recent history. But more so, what I wanted to talk about with this was just like he said, get these geriatrics out. It's like the Senate specifically, but even some in the House. There's this fucking geriatric ass nature to it, man, and it's just like, look. We have all sorts of, you know what? No, I was going to try to be nice about it, but fuck that. You can see with your own goddamn eyes that these people are not mentally there to be handling this level of responsibility that's in charge of the entire goddamn country.
At least
Forget
there are
about
two
it.
obvious examples, Dianne Feinstein and Mitch McConnell. It's obvious that they are not in the shape they need to
Bro.
be making decisions that impact the entire country. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
come
well-
on now, let's be realistic about this.
But like I've seen Grassley not looking that great as well.
Oh, there's more. I'm just saying they're the two very obvious examples where you cannot argue with me that these people should be resigned or forced to retire at this stage. They should be able to just rest.
Here's the thing.
Get Mitch McConnell a pillow.
Both parties
Let him chill.
are doing this now. Okay, they're wheeling out Feinstein. They're fucking holding Mitch's hand at. Why do you think if a man is drawing blanks, they just continue to put him up on a fucking podium, keep him in his position? And same with Feinstein. They are more concerned about who and how they're going to fill that spot with than the person there. Like, he's not healthy, man. He needs to sit down, and it sure as hell isn't smart or rational in any way to have him in charge of anything.
The crazy and leader of that part, that wing of the party,
insane.
By the way, the question that Mitch McConnell received when he froze up is, "Do you intend to run for re-election?"
I know.
In like 2026,
the man, and that was recent freeze number 2.
That was the second time that he froze like that. Yeah.
I mean, goddamn, I don't know what to say anymore when our politics is such a fucking joke that it's hard. It's hard to watch. It's hard to take seriously. And I know how important it is for everyone to participate, to get out, because it does fucking count who you get sitting there pulling strings. Look at this shit.
And
we got the Crypt Keeper.
Hold on, I just came back. Y'all talking about Mitch McConnell?
Mitch McConnell froze.
Oh
Frozen.
man, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's embarrassing. How does shout out to his team though for the loyalty and the way they blamed it on the reporter's volume. The second time.
Did you hear me?
Did you hear him?
I think
Speak up,
those
please.
people are evil. They want him in that role because they have some hand on power. So no, those are all real people. You think they tried, and they should have a psyche eval to see if they're sociopaths.
You don't
Why are you just
bro? Listen. You
What
don't
was
think
Vinny the security guy doing though?
But you don't think they're
He
sitting
called them
there
like, Vinny's, do something.
grab that reporter now?
But you
Stop
don't think
asking the question.
He's sitting there with this important document, and they're like, "Okay, Mrs. Yay or nay, or sign here." And the other lady's like, "Yeah, okay, Miss.
Yeah, that's
Here,
it.
sign here." And he's just there like
Running it through.
drooling on
Oh
himself.
my God, that's
Same with
nuts.
Feinstein.
And
The
yeah.
guy's sitting in the shoulder. He's like, "Just say yay."
I
Just say
imagine
yay,
that
man.
somebody has to literally just move Feinstein's wrists and make the signature out of it. She can just grip the pen.
Pure
because they're-
insanity.
Wow.
And here's
At
the other
this point
crazy
in
thing to
time.
me, like the schooling that they had has totally changed to what we've learned today. Like Pluto was still a planet when I was in school. There were 9 planets in the solar system.
Ooh, now
It's
it's-
8 now.
What?
Pluto's out, right?
Pluto-
Imagine somebody that was in school in like 1970, 60. You know what I mean? They've got they were pre-civil rights movement schooling.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I just feel
Yeah,
like
I
maybe
know.
we should let some younger people that have, the newer experience and are going to deal with the repercussions of the future a little more directly. Maybe they should be in the positions to
Sounds good to
make
me.
decisions about our future.
And also to the parties, right? To like the Democrats who are worried about how can they replace Feinstein, and same situation for the Republicans. Like,
Wow.
if you are in the situation where maneuvering at this time is not wise, that's because you missed the window 5 windows ago where
Yep.
they should have fucking retired.
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
get the fuck out of here.
Yo,
Johnny,
what do you think-
Mitch froze up like your
What do you-
first talent show, bro.
I did. Did I freeze up? I did. I'll be missing you now, and I ain't freeze up. I remember that shit. I did.
Uno
that.
freeze.
Yeah, unless I'm
Boom
on that
zone's out.
shit.
Yeah, boom
I do.
zone's out.
But where do you think he went for those couple minutes that he was in that zone?
You know what? Honestly, to a better place. Right. Wherever it was a better, because he didn't have that. He didn't have that that gas face
He was
look.
still smiling.
He had that goofy, that goofy, doofus look. So he was somewhere good.
Yup.
Wherever he was in his head, Mitch was
Oh
chilling.
man! Shout out to Mitch and that bullshit.
All
he
those
keeps
meds
providing.
probably kicked in because I've heard some craziness about how medicated.
Listen, man.
They might have shut him
People
down.
are
He might be an AI, man. They probably fucking turn him
malfunction,
off,
bro. The Bluetooth turned off. She's like, could you repeat that? And they're smacking
You know
the
what?
The
controller.
worst AI company
Retyping
made
the
him.
password.
Mitch
Is
needs
that capital?
to.
Capital H?
Mitch needs to hit up Trump and get some of that international Sudafed that Trump be starting.
Oh man!
And get on that.
Half his interviews,
Does
he's
Trump
got the
still got
nose thing going
access
on.
though? Trump ain't looking too good in them streets right now, man.
Yeah, nah, I mean, Rico got him, bro.
Yeah, so they not stopping. They hit him with a Dukins left and right, man. They just
You can't be that obvious. He was like, I'm president. I'm going to just do all this shit. And I guess
oh my god.
got busted on the way out the door.
All right, we got time for one more jump off. Johnny, you still interested in doing this story?
Yo, you know what? If y'all want to leave with a little bit more with a little leave more froggish, because this one, I'm gonna be going
All right.
through the shit,
Let's just do this. Why don't we take this one out with the horror renaissance a little bit story?
Right
What
on.
do you think?
I could do that real quick.
Yeah, I know.
Let's talk about
Remy on the mount.
Because
Yeah.
the horror world has been our world.
Yo.
And yeah, and before we get into that, if you
Horse shit.
got this far in the show and you didn't hit the subscribe button, now's the perfect time.
Yep, hit
to
the like button.
subscribe.
You know what I'm
Give
saying?
us a like, and always feel free to leave a comment.
You know what? We'll respond too, you know what I'm saying? Send a couple news, Instagram, John_boom, make me feel good.
There you
There
go.
you go. We appreciate you for getting this far.
Thank you.
So should I take it away?
Yeah, take it away, and then let's get one more story in there, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
All right, I lost the website, but it's by Cathal Gunning. 2023's best horror movie continues the genre's incredible box office trend. The A24 horror hit Talk to Me is another box office success that keeps one consistent genre trend alive. The movie has become the latest horror film to prove a huge success at the box office, earning over $24 million on a budget of only $4 million. While $24 million would always be an impressive haul for such a low-budget film, the fact that Talk to Me was released only a week after the Barbie and Oppenheimer box office battle makes this achievement even more impressive. In recent years, horror's profitability has become more apparent than ever. In 2022, the $250,000 indie Terrifier 2 racked up $15.4 million, while the $4 million sleeper hit Barbarian made $45 million. And then I looked up some other highest grossing horror movies this year. Insidious The Red Door is the highest grossing Insidious movie. It grossed $182 million.
Okay.
As of the time I looked this up. Megan, which was a new thing that came out, grossed $180 million.
That's crazy.
Scream 6 is the highest grossing Scream movie. It grossed $169 million.
What?
And even in the shark horror realm, The Meg 2 grossed $159 million. There's a lot of good shark
That's
horror
what's
out
up.
there.
Wow.
Not Black Demon though. That movie's terrible.
Is it?
Black Demon was rough, but I will say this about
It
Meg.
wasn't really
Meg
about shark.
2 did not live up to Meg 1.
No. Well, it's impossible to live up to
Yeah,
such
but I liked
greatness
Meg
and
1
epic.
so much that I was really, I thought it was up. But you know what? Maybe I got to give it another watch. Let me watch it a second time before I pass.
I gotta watch the whole Meg. I haven't watched either.
Oh man, the
first Meg
one's
is good.
Word.
Yeah, it's
Good.
not. What's the one with LL and the Smart Sharks?
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. It's no Deep Blue Sea. Jaws, of course, is the pinnacle.
You're ready.
But it's a good one.
It's good.
But
Alright,
but
alright.
but to the story's point, horror is having a really shining moment.
Let's go.
The
Big
past
time.
couple years,
Pow.
horror movies left and right are doing great.
Originals
And you know what I
are
wanted to
killing it.
ask? Is horror the only genre where movies with a budget as low as $1 to $5 million are having such a breakout result of turning in 15 to 20? On top of
I
such
think
a small
so.
budget
Well,
to start.
You know
Crazy.
what? I would look at whatever A24 is doing because they are operating on a lower budget as far as their films, but they let the directors do whatever they want. You'll probably find the most successful stuff because now A24 is synonymous with greatness. And they got all the good horror.
Wasn't that
For
the
sure.
same story with Terrifier 1? Didn't he have
Bro, that movie
Bare
was made
bones?
for tens of thousands of dollars. It was barely a budget, and that shit blew up because of how gnarly the kills were.
Yeah, like the number was so low that it's shocking what they spent to make, and then when you see how good the movie did, it's like, holy shit, talk about turning a profit.
Yep. And then you see that story too for like Paranormal Activity is another one where they basically did that on a shoestring budget and it blew up, and that's always been the case for horror, but now it's really successful because it's happening so much. While everything else isn't getting attention, horror movies are still pulling in audiences. And as a horror fan, it's great.
And the Fast and the Furious.
And the Fast and the Furious. And the Marvel movies.
Fast and the Furious. I can't wait until they come out with the next one. I want to see another one. I want them to keep going to my kids and my kids' kids.
Right? I want to see, I want to see the Fast and the Furious crossover with Star Wars.
They can't stop. Oh, imagine that would be too much. I'll be throwing up by then.
At this point, it should just be a long series of 3-hour movies.
Right.
Just
they're going to do spin-offs.
Marathon.
So.
You could spend a whole day watching Fast and the Furious.
You never stop
mediocrity.
Going.
Yeah, man. But listen, I think we're at that point in the show where we're going to wrap it up and let you go. So, shout out to everybody who tuned in.
You know,
always.
we like that shit.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy Labor Day weekend.
Enjoy.
I hope everyone's having a safe, beautiful time out there.
You know what time it is.
Be sure
Time for edibles.
to come back and check us out for more. We drop regular shorts.
All
we only
day.
do about 2 of these long episodes a month right now.
For sure.
And but we put a lot of different stories into each, and then we hit you with the shorts on a much more
gumbo
consistent basis. So
Gumbo.
yes, but
all that.
That's it for me. Signing off. You got something?
Yo, subscribe, like. Yo, if you held on this whole episode, I fuck with y'all. Don't forget, got the rap snacks, Migos snacks in the building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Quavo. New Rocket Power album is fucking amazing.
Fire.
Fucking great music, man. Very different. Yo, honestly, it's a lot higher. I know it's gonna be dope, but when he took the music and this shit was crazy. You know, got the rap snacks. Well, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's something for me to listen to this week. You know? But yeah, I don't got anything else to add. Thank you for listening to us. We appreciate all of you. And much love to everybody. Take care. Have a safe weekend.
You're listening to TFP, the fan's perspective. You're listening to TFP, the fan's perspective.